Okay, so another video that I'm going to make today to help you out with this is a little trick for remembering how to set up these problems. Sometimes it can get a little confusing. You've got grams, you've got moles, you've got grams. How do we set this up to make sure that we're doing it correctly? And one way to do this is to set it up kind of graphically. So I've written my original equation, again, nitrogen plus hydrogen reacting to form ammonia. I've got my little cartoon of a mole here, and you can see the mole is digging out from under the ground. So one way to remember is moles, the animal, they stay underground. Now, if we look at our equation, I'm going to say above the equation, that is above ground, and then below the equation is underground. Now notice that I have written the given in grams above the ground, and then my unknown, I'm looking for grams, also above the ground. In order to get from above ground grams to above ground grams, you have to go below 2 moles. So we have to start with 45.5 grams of N2. We have to change that to moles of N2. So here we've got below the ground where our moles are. Now that's moles of N2. In order to get to grams of NH3, we have to go through moles of NH3. And once we've gotten to moles of NH3, then we can go back above ground to grams. So notice that the unit is moles, moles are underground. If the unit is grams, they're above the ground. So above the equation is above ground, below the equation is below ground. Should make sense. Now, notice there are 3 arrows. There are 3 arrows because there's going to be 3 different fractions that you're going to be setting up. So if I set this up, I start with my 45.5 grams of N2. And then I know that there's going to be 3 different fractions that I need to set up. The 3 fractions correspond to the 3 arrows, 1, 2, 3. The first fraction is going to be the first step. That's going from grams to moles. Now, if I'm going from grams to moles, I know that grams is going to have to be on the bottom, and moles of N2 is going to be on the top. Now, when I have a fraction like this that has grams in it, that's going to be your molar mass. Molar mass, whoops, don't know why that happened, but that's okay. Molar mass always goes with 1 mole, 1, and then the molar mass is going to be 28 grams of N2, 1 mole of N2. Now the next step here, this moles of N2 to moles of N3, that step is going to be your mole ratio. Mole ratio. Mole ratio, moles of NH3 goes on top. Moles of N2 goes on the bottom. The numbers that go here correspond directly to the coefficients. So that's going to be a 2 here and a 1 here. And now, go from moles of NH3, so I know that moles of NH3 has to carry down here. And I'm looking for grams of NH3, that's going to be on the top. And again, anytime you see grams over moles, we know that's going to be the molar mass. So the molar mass always has 1 mole where the moles unit goes, and then that periodic table mass on the top. So notice this is exactly the same setup we had before. We're starting above ground, grams of given, this is given. We're ending above ground, grams of unknown. To get from above ground given to above ground unknown, we have to tunnel down into the ground to the moles area. So the moles live underground. So 45 grams, go to moles, use the mole ratio to go to moles of NH3, then use your molar mass to go back up to grams of NH3. So that's one way to remember how to set up this kind of problem. If you like it, you can use it. If you don't, you don't have to. There are other ways to do this. I'm going to show you one in the next video.